Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to a special Once Upon a Game where we're playing Firebrands. It's Saturday, and I thought it'd be fun to play Firebrands with some new people, as well as some regular old faces here. And yeah, so let's kind of get into it. I'm Eric. I'm he, him, and I will be the facilitator of this game. This would be a special game of Firebrands because one of our players does something. I'll let them explain it. Al, hi.
Hi, it's me. I'm Elle. We're playing Firebrands with some of the scenes that myself and my friend Ben Roswell at Roswell Rates on Twitter came up with for our podcast Sun City Duet, where we play Firebrands.
Yeah.
Woo! I use these here pronouns. You should. Today is International Podcast Day, and you should celebrate that by listening to Sun City Duet.
Definitely should. It's really good.
It's so good.
Nice. Thank you. Let's go down the list. There's Steven. Hi.
Hey everybody, I'm Steven, or Wolf Wizard here on Twitch. I just play games and stuff. I'm currently working on a hack of John Harper's Lady Blackbird, and I'm making it all shadow runny, so that's exciting.
Oh, that would work out pretty well. I can see how that works. Yeah.
So
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome.
cool.
Yeah, thanks. And last but certainly not least, Katie. Hi.
Hi, I'm Katie. I don't really do anything. I play everyone who says, "Do you want to play this game?" I say, "Yeah, I'll play." I don't know how to say no. I mean, really, I don't know the word no. You can follow me on Twitter if you want. Just an example is I was up at 4:00 this morning tweeting about anime because I went into a hole. So that's my life.
Yeah.
Come into your anime hole.
I fell into a hole. Didn't mean to, but it happened.
Good. Well, if you want anime, and this is the right spot because this game is nothing but anime. It does we'll play it and I'll let the game speak for itself, but I haven't found a game where the spirit and rules of the game as well as the ease of play all intertwine in a very, very fun, interesting way, because that's what we're doing today. We're playing a mecha anime game. It's less about the actual mechs and fighting, and you don't have to worry about guns overheating with rules of, energy, power, numbers. It's more about the pilots and those who end up falling in love and making complicated lives out of a very complicated situation. The game has a little preface about what's going on, but I kind of already have it memorized, and I know Vincent says it better, but I'm just gonna ramble for a second to give you an idea of what's going on. Right? We are all humans in the future. We have spread out amongst the stars, and there is a little backwater planet called Bantrell, or Bantresh, the Bantrell system, and this is a joke of a system with that the rich landholder people that control most of space joke about and bet shares of this system on golf bets, on the space moons, and that all changed very recently because there was a breakthrough happening on the planet Bantresh, which is the system that's named after, about a certain organism or a chemical compound that comes from the organisms of this planet called bantrophil. And accordingly, you can use this to basically, it's kind of like a better fuel source for most shipping things. It's like, what ethanol could have been, it's a way to make things like 10% better. And of course, to people in space, it's a big deal, and that makes their profit margins go up. So all of a sudden, the entire world is looking at this sector. And so landholders who normally were joking around with this place have decided to come here and interfere with people who have been living pretty autonomously for their lives. This is the noble families, the Bantresh noble families of Bantresh in the system. I imagine something kind of like Dune, like they're all famous big houses that sort of intrigue with each other. And of course, they're kind of in the midst of their own rebellion. Based on the revolutionaries who are tired of this autocratic rule and seeking to overthrow them. And so they're dealing with their own little internal civil war, and I say that in a very light way, when the landowners come in who also are now trying to be like, well, we actually have the deeds for this stuff. Can we, give us these sweet chemicals? And so alliances are made and broken and twisted and changed in this triangle of power. Ultimately, though, war cannot be declared here when, and there's a reason why for this. It could be, but as soon as that happens, the Terran government basically, instead of just the landowners, so like proper Earth will step in and be like, all right, no one gets any of this shit. You guys cannot play nice. We're going to nationalize this and basically run everything, right? And so nobody wants that. Right, so everyone wants to avoid that. So what happens is when revolutionaries, crash open and take down a landholder facility, that's just a separatist, blip on the radar. It's been taken care of, and so when the landowners withhold money and funds to the noble families who are supporting those rebels, and those people go starving, that's just a minor quabble, not a full conflict, as according to the media, that kind of stuff. It all gets kind of played down. So anyways, that's sort of the scenario of what's going on. The rest of the game has a little bit more about these certain places, or these certain factions. We can make up the planet as we see fit. I always kind of imagine something, just lush Earth-like, but it could be whatever you want. It could be like an Arrakis, if you wanted it to. But anyways, that's kind of the gist of the game. The way this is played is that we're all going to be playing a character from one of those three factions. We're going to be playing we're all mech ace pilots, regardless. But we're all of these three different factions. We have 4 people, so it's totally cool for 2 people to be within the same. That's not a problem. Our goal of this game isn't to win the war for our side. It's to make a messy, complicated situation more messy and complicated. The tagline to this game is fight with your friends, ally with rivals, fall in love with your enemies. Okay? So that's sort of the gist of the game. It's okay if you die. That's totally fine because there's rules for that, and you can be okay, and you can come with a new character. Play fast and loose. Come up. Always go with the first thing that comes in your head. Listen to what other people say. Reincorporate ideas. Have goals for your characters, and to let us know what they are when it makes sense, and so we can just play around that and have a good old time this morning. All right. So what's going to happen is once we make our characters, we're going to take turns and we're going to be playing these mini games. There's just the way the game's set up. That's why there's a huge list of games over here. We're going to take turns selecting which game we want to play, and some games ask for everyone to play. Some games ask for one and a partner to come up with stuff. Other ones might be you're okay to step in if you want to, or not, based on the situation. All right. So we'll just be listening and playing along with each other. At any point, if you're not included in a game, there's a special game called Solitaire. You can always play Solitaire by yourself, read over the list of the rules for Solitaire, and come up with a new thing that's going on. Oftentimes, what happens is when you play Solitaire, you will be asked in the future after Solitaire to be like, what have people noticed about you? And that's the time when you can sort of play off what happened in the Solitaire scene of being like, oh, you heard that I might have been mixed up with some rebel activity down in the jungles or whatever, right? Like, or oh yeah, like my name keeps getting associated with that landholder consolidation meeting. You don't know why, and like that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden, you can do scenes that later on to that sort of web into that stuff. Anyways, it's sort of like if you ever need extra fuel to drive conflicts, totally just use stuff from the Solitaire scene, right? So that's enough for me rambling about the game. Let's get started. Let's start making some characters. So
Cool.
I haven't had a chance to really look at who I want to be yet and think about it because I was so busy getting everything set up for this morning. Has somebody looked over the list and is really excited about playing a certain faction and that kind of stuff? Because there's the 3 factions again. There's the nobles, right, who have the sort of like noble mechs that are all about their family colors and houses. You have you have the revolutionaries who are sort of like they have worker mechs or mechs that have been stolen and kind of reassembled and set up for guerrilla war. And then third of all, you have the landowners. And the landowners are technically not part of the game. It's more like they hire mercenaries, and they're like a mercenary army that steps in. And those are the people that you play. You play the hired mercenaries of enforcing the landowner's will. So though, if you want to play the badass military soldier people, though, that's the group. If you want to play the nobility and have these house familial connections, then that's your group. But if you want to play the political firebrands, then I see what I did there. You can definitely pick the revolutionaries. So
Good job.
who's interested? Who is one of these groups screaming to you to be? Anyone?
Can I pick a faction based on their attractive qualities? I might go with landowners.
Done. Yes. Perfect. Okay. So you'll be our guinea pig here, Steven.
Yes.
All right. Let's so this will be good for everyone to see how this works. All right. So Steven, great. So you selected the landowners. Awesome. The next thing you need to do is you need to come up with your traits and then come up with a name. All right. And so everyone's going to have 3 traits. And then I think there's an additional thing about describing your mech and your name and your squadron, if I remember right. Let me look at this setup. And
Yep.
so.
Company name, unit designation, or squad call sign.
yeah, that's right. Okay, cool. So let's just go through the order, right? So landowners, you guys are the soldiers. All of the landowners and officers and such are your friends starting out. The Bantresh, aka the nobles, right, are your rivals. And when a fight breaks out, they're your enemies. But the revolutionaries are basically always your enemies, right? So that's sort of what it tells you here. And yeah, this is very like asymmetric style war. But next thing up is your attractive qualities. So what of those 3 attractive qualities have you selected? Or what subset words? You know what I mean? Pick 3.
Right. I think I want to go with fashionable. I think whoever my character is always like, he considers himself a noble. He may not be, but he considers himself that way.
Yeah.
So fashionable, conflicted. Definitely. That's always a good one. And this is so hard now. Can I change good-hearted to secretly good-hearted? No.
Yeah. No, you could. That's just good-hearted. It's just that you don't. You're tsundere, right?
Right.
Yeah. I get it. No, that is good-hearted. It's just that's a good way of describing it, though. It's that you keep it. You don't openly display it though, but you are
Right.
good-hearted. Perfect.
Awesome.
Do you have a name, or do you want to marinate on that for a little bit?
Yeah, I've got a name.
Cool.
Saurus Blackmont.
Oh my God. Are you sure you never played this game before? That's a Blackmont is
Blackmont.
that's probably the best landowner name I've heard, actually. And I played this game a lot. That's super good. Okay.
Cool.
Awesome. Do you have a company name or unit designation or squad call sign that you should refer to? Basically, you are leading a cadre of mechs, right? You are sort of an officer of this mercenary group. Or maybe you're actually a military group that's been leased, by the landowners. Do you have a cool name, right?
Not yet. Can I
Sure.
marinate on that one?
Absolutely.
Cool.
After we've all done, now that we've sort of went through that, we also mentioned that we don't really describe our mechs. You can if you want, if there's something you particularly want to narrate about what it looks like or that kind of thing, you totally can. Who wants to go next?
I will.
Okay, Katie.
So I am pulled to the revolutionaries.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, I will also hold on. I'm going to write what faction we are in the text boxes as well, so we can have that. Cool. All right. So, revolutionaries. Do you have a traits in mind?
Yeah. So I know I wanted to do kind. Charming and funny.
That's a winning trifecta. Katie, do you have
Just
a
like me
name?
in real life.
Do you have a name in mind?
Her name is Kiki Condor.
Fucking, you guys are good at these names.
Oh no! The Condor
Oh, the K?
is
Yeah.
a K.
Yeah. All right. That's my
That's
thought was.
important.
Look, I didn't know we were going there. I thought it was I originally was going to write it, and then I was like, "No,
We're going there.
We're going there," and we did. All right, that's good to know. That's what we're doing. Okay, cool. And Do you want to? I think you have something about your mech
My profession.
profession. That's yeah.
So it says that brings you in regular contact with the other two factions. Could
Mhm.
like a mech mechanic? Would that make sense? I don't really.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You're a mechanic.
Yeah, I want to do like a mechanic, a grease monkey.
Yeah. So then you probably like work on the dot. Like, do you work for a house or do you work for?
I think I would be like a freelance.
Okay, a freelance mechanic. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Awesome. Yeah, so there's probably something that you can do that like no one else can.
Yeah.
Totally. Cool. We can figure out what that is in play and stuff. Cool. Elle, do you have an idea, or should I?
If you're fine with being the nobility, I also wanted to be a landowner.
I love being nobility, so that works for me.
Okay. I've got a. So I have got a name. It's Apsis Anel. God, I picked the last name that I can't pronounce. Anelima.
Yeah, can you spell that for me?
So Apsis is APSIS, and
Oh, like the snake, right? Isn't that a snake?
An asp is a snake. It's APSIS.
Oh, okay.
And then
Oh.
Anelima is ANALEMMA. It's the trace that a
Anelima.
celestial body goes across the sky over the course of a year. So if you ever see those pictures where like you see the sun in the sky and it's doing like a figure 8, that's Anelima. Anelima.
All I'm thinking
Analema.
about is anemone. Anemone.
Yeah. I'm not good with words. I might do a podcast, but I'm not good at saying things.
You just had to pick that name.
It's true. We do it to. All right. What traits did you have in mind?
Let me get back to that thing. Okay. I was going to go with confident, striking, and thoughtful.
Ooh, nice. Confident, striking, and thoughtful. And what is your profession?
My profession is that I'm a leader of a mech group because I'm a landowner.
Oh, my God!
I'm
I wrote
working-
revolutionary. Yeah. I'm so sorry. You totally said that. I got sidetracked trying to figure out how to say your last name. My bad. Yeah. No. So what is your Do you have a squad call sign or a company name? Or?
My company name is Star Seekers.
Yeah, that's super good. That's a keeper. Cool. And I guess I have to come up with stuff on the spot. So I'm obviously going to be a noble. I'm going to be a Vantresh. Let's see. My attractive qualities will be. I'm obviously beautiful.
Yeah, you are.
I'm beautiful, cultured, and radiant. Interesting. Now I'm gonna be strong. Be beautiful, cultured, and strong. And
Such a noble.
yeah, right. And I now I just have to come up with a name, which is always like the hardest part. I'll have to come up with a family name too. Hey, morning, Impius.
It's Analemma. That's what it is. It's Analemma. Apsis Analemma.
I'm gonna be Lady something.
I had to roll like for a name before we
Lady
started, or I
Drag.
would be here forever.
No, I'm gonna be like Lady Dracona something. Mr. Worst in chat mentioned about nobles have to have Vaughn as a part, and then something else. Someone, Estani mentioned that last time they played, nobles had names after celestial bodies, and I think I'm gonna steal that here. So I'm gonna be Von Orion.
I like
So-
that.
It's also strong and stuff. So obviously I use a bow. Yeah. So, yeah. So my mech, I guess my mech colors and that family stuff. Blue. I think our colors are like blue, white, and green. We're sort of a environmental hunter, woodland kind of like, protect the environment, refuge, ecology specialists, kind of house, right? So of course we use a bowcaster, yeah, a laser bow for sure. Okay, cool. That's good for me. So now, in this game, the first thing we do is that we all play a game of solitaire. So we're all going to look over our sheets real quick for solitaire, and pick one of those things to happen for us. And technically, the game's supposed to make it so you would do it silently. But part of me, what I like to do is this is also the first time we can see our characters on screen. So we might go around real quick and then use this as a way to sort of show in media res what our characters are doing as a way to introduce them. And then we can jump into our list of games. Okay? So, yep, just look over, and if I can find solitaire, there it is. So you look over this list of questions that are for your faction, and then come up with one of them, the answer, one of the questions. So like each of them is a prompt where there is a response, and then you choose something underneath it. And so all you have to do is pick one of those questions and then one of those answers. Okay. And then then we'll take turns just going around real quick, throwing in who we are and whatnot. So let's see. All right, I got mine.
So like you pick the question, you pick the answer, and you have like a little story
scene, yeah,
response.
a little vignette of like showing what your character looks like on screen while this is happening, or
gotcha.
Like
That's what I wanted to make sure you did. Yeah.
If you want,
Perfect.
if you want an example, I could go first because I already have mine in mind, and then you guys can kind of follow my lead. Okay.
Perfect.
Yep. So we zoom down from the space of this beautiful blue planet with speckles of dark green and clouds over it. We zoom down into a large sort of like pine forest and a waterfall. And it's very like misty and beautiful and verdant. We hear the sounds of birds chirping and crickets and stuff like that all around. It's just a very lively forest, and you see a family surrounded by servants, entertaining several officials, obviously wearing like sort of off, like we're wearing a style of clothes that is not what the officers are wearing. Well, we're wearing more like stylistic, I'm just gonna say like a kimono style like garb, something more like a robe, very flexible, but also functional, as pockets. These guys are wearing sort of like I imagine something to the effect of like Imperial Star, like the people, like the officers on the what do you call it? The Death Star, like that gray sort of like drabby fascisty looking attire.
Yeah.
Right. They're looking around and scoffing at this place as they were showing, and we're just kind of berating our family here, as they're being like, why would you take us to this dirty mud place? Do you think this is special? There's nothing here that's very important other than that stupid chemical. Like, why are you showing us these things if you, they just give us the chemicals. We don't care where they come from. And you can see the look of distress as from the point of view of a small girl, approximately like 16, is kind of like looking on as her parents are trying to basically assuage the situation, being like, "Oh, we're so sorry. Of course. We thought that it would be nice, but we were so mistaken." And they're basically trying to like suck up and apologize to these people. And then they finally like get into their sort of shuttle and fly off. And I talk to my parents real quick, and I say like, "How did this happen?" And she, why don't they like our family's reservoir, or our family waterfall? And you see my mom kind of like put a hand on my shoulder and say, The people not from this planet do not understand our customs, and it's an obligation to us as the nobles of Bantresh to educate them and see the values of things that are just not on ledgers, but the things around us. Never forget that. And she kisses my forehead, and then zoom out. It's my scene.
Cool.
Okay, I think I have one. If no one minds me going next.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so you sort of zoom in on like the back room of like an old sort of rundown mechanic shop with like random pieces of old mechs laying around that probably weren't procured in totally legal ways, but they're all banged up. You know, they're probably being sold off. You know, you can sort of make up the worst of ideas. And there's a sort of boxes and seats all gathered around, and there's a group of people. It's about 20 at this point, and there's a heavy murmur of whisper, and there's someone talking, and they're getting sort of riled up and like, you know, talking about how it's time to strike. It's time to really the tension is rising between the landowners and the nobles, and that it's time to make the move for the revolutionaries. That this tension's coming to a head. And the thing about Kiki that you have to understand is she's very small. She's like 4'8". She's tiny. And she I stand up on a table actually, and I just sort of look at everybody and smile, and I go, friends, I know you're getting restless, but trust me, you have to be calm. We will make our move when it's smartest, and then we'll take them down, and then our people will rise because we're meant to. And then that's our scene.
Okay, yeah. Inspiring. Awesome. Who wants to go next?
I can go.
Okay.
Okay, so we see Apsis going around. They're off duty. They're not wearing their usual uniform. So they're in more casual clothing, and they're just kind of going around looking at the city, you know, looking at shops. And someone comes at them with a knife, and they deflect it because they're super cool and a super cool mech pilot and good at fighting. Like knocking the away, and a little bit more wary and a little bit less a little bit more cautiously. God, my brain is a little bit of a mess. There we go.
Cool.
All right. So it's my turn. So I just go and do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah. So I think the first thing we see probably is the reflection of the sun over like a large lake, and there are like there's a pine forest growing on the side of a mountain on the opposite side of the lake, and a flock of white birds fly by. They're disturbed by something, and there's this large rumbling going through this dirt road track, and there's this large armored vehicle being escorted by like a squad of mobile suits.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing you see is like a shot of my character's face inside the mobile suit. And you can see the reflections of you know, all of the augmented reality monitors and pinpointers and maps against his face. But he has a very smooth face with a pointed nose, and we can see that even though he's in his mobile suit, he's still in like military dress uniform, with like a nice tie and his buttons, and he doesn't have any medals or anything. But he's giving orders to his team, and about that time, across the way, we kind of zoom back and we see this energy bolt like charge and grow and zap through the air, exploding trees on one side. And Saurus, immediately starts giving orders, and half the mobile suit team goes and begins returning fire as he escorts the payload, and they like continue off the dirt path.
Oh, so he came under attack.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Get it. Awesome. All right. Now that we've all had a little individual scenes of describing what's going on, now we can start actual proper play. So we're going to be taking turns choosing the scene to pick and then kind of following it through. So I have an idea in mind. If you guys don't mind, I love starting this kind of way. I find it works very well. I want to start with a dance. I love starting with a dance, and I think everyone is there because I think my family is putting on a Bantresh. Let's just say it's the Founders Festival. It was the first time, after the surveyors and stuff like that, it's the first time the colonists arrived to Bantresh. And the first time, it's a colonization day or whatever. So I think we're all there, and it's sort of like a giant festival. Everyone expects fireworks and things at the end. I'm picturing something sort of like this huge, very formal affair on a sort of very like massive lake house style scenario with a huge deck overlooking this majestic lake with woods around and like sort of mountains in the background. It's very like natural landscape around us. But inside around this manor house, this lake house is very, very formal. Great Gatsby-esque is probably what I'm thinking. Very like neo-deco is actually the style I'm thinking of for a lot of this stuff. And so of course there's a dance. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take turns choosing who are like our partners and our address and that sort of thing. I think you can choose to not be here. I'm gonna say that you guys as players, you can choose to not be in this scene, but to not go to this would be seen as a very serious faux pas socially, right? So if everyone agrees, then we can do the dance setup.
Sounds cool.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna be dancing with Saurus. So Saurus, describe how I have to ask you, how did us two become dance partners?
I think I was doing my I'm not really interested in all of this, but I'm here because I'm supposed to be routine over in a corner. And I think you being the lonely misunderstood girl kind of pointed me out in the crowd, maybe you just came and asked me to dance, seeing that I wasn't really with anybody else in the crowd.
Yeah. I actually have something to build on something real quick. I just realized, you know what? I don't want to be 16. So can we say that was in the past, and then we flash forward to me being older, like I'm like 20 something. Okay, cool. But that was the time when I realized that the people of the world aren't really to be trusted, kind of thing. All right, so it was still formative. It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm just older now, and so that's where we're at this dance. Yeah, that makes perfect sense because I don't really want to dance, but we're gonna have to. So we have to take turns. We're gonna ask each other 2 questions, and then we can switch dance partners around, and then so other people will have a chance to step in and also dance with you and that sort of thing, right? So, you're trying really hard to not have a good time, but this is a very fun dance. And I'm also trying to not have a good time, right? Because we're both kind of like wallflowers or don't really want to be here, but
Right.
we get pushed together, and there's no way in heck we're gonna be able to not have to do this. It's a formal, I imagine, some kind of like formal dance around a ballroom, like very like ballroom dancing, so a lot of like twirling around, synchronization kind of stuff. But it's also like this isn't even a Bantrash song. This is sort of like a Terran, like everyone knows this song kind of thing, right?
It's
So-
Toxic by Britney Spears.
Yeah, absolutely. It is toxic. Yeah, it's Toxic by Britney Spears. We in
It
fact
came on the radio earlier today.
Neo Britney is here performing it live
Yes.
at this place. And yeah, so we are dancing, and I think whether it's just like the very nice calm lights that reflect around the atmosphere around, it's just we're having a very good time, and before you know it, there's a smile on your face, and something about me catches your eye. What is it?
Like you said, I think the mood and the lighting is just right, and this is probably the time in the anime where everything gets blurry except our 2 characters. And and yeah, I focus down on your face, and it's your eyes that catch my eye, just sparkling and radiant in the light, and they almost seem to dance themselves with the music.
Oh, nice, cool. Now it's your turn to ask questions. We do this twice.
Okay. This is interesting. Do I need to do like any like precursor to the question, or just the question itself?
So it's totally up to you. Like, you know how I flavored it a lot and set up to it. You can speak the move literally, or you can embellish it and mask it based on the fiction. So it's totally up to you how direct or indirect you want to be with these questions.
Okay. So yeah. So like, I'm there staring into your eyes, and we're dancing, twirling around one another. And I think the question is, at this moment in the dance, you laugh. What do you laugh at?
One of did you hold on? We never came up with your squad name
Squad name. I think we
or
called them
call sign.
Epsilon.
The Epsilons.
Yeah.
Well, one of your officers or one of your members of the Epsilons completely falls and trips during the dance, and I can't help but laugh. And then I realize, looking back at you, that you have the Epsilon insignia on your arm, right on your attire too. But I was totally laughing at the bumblingness of one of your soldiers. And then this dance continues. We zoom around. That's the wrong one.
So I have to say, I'm totally
This
in
is-
love with this game so far.
All right. Okay, here we go. Here's the opportunity. So you just saw me laugh at your friend,
Right?
and then Neo Britney plays a song that I don't know, but it's a song that you do because it's not a song that reached the Bantrash system yet. So I don't know the appropriate dance that goes along with it, but you do. And so while we're dancing, you can see that you can see that I'm a very fast learner, especially when it comes to dancing and things like that, but I'm struggling here and I lose my place. Do you let me stumble just like your officer? Or do you draw me back into place and hide my mistake?
Oh, I definitely. I draw you back into place, and it's almost as if nobody notices. Almost like your stumble was like in time,
Graceful?
and was like,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right, right, right.
Right.
Was graceful as I just like
Right.
take you and we continue around and round.
Yeah. I smile. Do I know that you did that?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I smile at you and I say thank you. In a very I don't want to just I'm totally belying my feelings for you right now when I say that. Like I'm being very blasé when I say thank you, but you can see that I'm blushing, right?
Okay.
And totally cool. And you have one more and then we will rotate around and stuff. There's also a point in time where there are certain, by the way, just time out. There's a point in time some of these questions are like we break off for a moment, and that's also a good time if you wanted to dance with someone else. You could do that, and then we can come back and interchange as well. I just wanted to show a quick little like interchange between two people to see how this works, and then have it expand out. Right? You can see how this game can be iterative in a way, and get a little bit more complicated and messy with everybody playing. I just want to get a quick little like back and forth, so describe how it looks like, and then we can keep going. Okay. So.
Okay. No. That's fine. I think that I notice you're blushing.
Yeah.
And as the music kind of dies down and goes to something a little slower, and I pull you close, and my face becomes close to yours. Do you turn subtly towards me, or subtly away?
You see me go away from you. But then you see that I feel I'm conflicted and I get close. But then no, I turn away again. But
All
you can
of my favorite tropes.
You can like you can see that this is a conflict for me.
Oh, definitely.
Right. And I'm trying very hard to not like you. Okay? So that's my answer.
Okay.
Cool. So that's there we go. By the way, I thought I was the worst dancer. I should have said that. Because that's actually part of how you conduct the dance is the worst dancer goes first.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, okay. So that's us. Who now I wanna open it up. Let's let either Apsis or Kiki maybe step in and do a dance. You don't have to dance with each other. You can dance with Source or Lady Dracona if you wanted as well, right? But one of you guys can step forward and.
I sort of have an idea, if that's cool.
Totally.
So like I am completely. So being a revolutionary, I had to come to this anyway, and usually Kiki has like black hair pulled up in like a braid, but she's wearing a wig tonight because she wants to seem sort of inconspicuous. I cannot talk.
Inconspicuous.
Thank you, inconspicuous.
Mm-hmm.
So she sort of got like this red, sort of futuristic looking bob wig on. And is very uncomfortable in this fancy place. So she's sticking near the buffet table, sort of just eating free food. And she catches eye of someone like staring at her, and thinks that it might be like a someone from the nobility who might recognize who she is. So I think she is going to grab the first person she sees. Maybe like Apsis, because I want to try it as someone different, and just grab them onto the floor while like "Oops, I Did It Again" by Nia Brittany comes on. I'm not gonna let this go.
Oh yeah, bum.
Yeah, just just grabs
Bum, ba-dum.
exactly, yeah, I like it. Grabs Apsis onto the floor and
Bum,
sort of
ba-dum.
like pushes up against them and is like, smiling very kindly, as kind and charming as she is, and is just like, hope you're having fun tonight. Sort of giving them no chance to dance or not. Just wanting to get lost in the crowd.
Which one of us is worse at dancing?
She's not great at it, but I mean, she.
Yeah, but this is your jam, though.
Yeah, I mean, this is her jam. So even if she's not great at it, she could probably make it look like she's probably just like free as hell, like, But I mean, she's not great at it, but she will go off.
Yeah, I think Apsis is in general an okay dancer with like some moves, but for this song, Kiki is the better dancer to this song.
Probably.
Totally. I mean, to lose all your senses is just so typically Kiki.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Go ahead.
Okay, so that means that I ask first question. Okay. So we are we're dancing around to this jam, and I seem a little bit distracted, and lose my place. Are you going to let me stumble, or are you going to draw me back into place?
So I am, like I said, going off on this song. This is my jam. So I think that at first I'm not going to notice that you're stumbling. Like, I'm not even going to notice that this is you. This is a stumble. I just think this is how you dance, and this is your own world, and you're free. This is your style. And I'm just going to just pull your hand and pull you back to me and just keep going with it. Yeah. And just appreciate your own form of dance.
My own form of terrible, terrible dance.
Yeah. So my turn?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so I think as we're dancing, wearing a wig, and it's probably not a good quality wig. My hair sort of begins to shift a little bit, and it's fallen in front of my ear. Do you touch my face? Sort of fix it?
Yeah, I kind of reach my hand up and very gently push your hair back behind your ear, and probably notice that it's a wig just from the texture. I'm not gonna say anything because I'm thoughtful. But I do notice I give you a little bit of a look, but I'm not gonna say anything.
I appreciate it.
Let's see. So as I'm leaning forward to brush your hair back, your mouth is close to my ear. What do you say?
Over the loud, beautiful, dulcet tones of Britney Spears,
Neo Britney Spears,
Neo
please.
Britney Spears, yes. Let me make sure I get that right. I whisper.
The original tracks were lost in the wars.
These are from reconstructed fragments.
Exactly.
Is she like a hologram, like peak Britney Spears hologram? That's what I heard.
Sure. Yeah.
Anyway, I whisper, so what are you doing here at the dance? Because I'm just here for the food and the Britney Spears. I'm not letting it go, guys.
You shouldn't.
My squad was invited here for the
Oh,
celebrations.
So you're a soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very. I bet that's a fun life.
It's certainly exciting.
I just sort of smirk and smile and consider that. And I had it and I lost it. As the dance ends, because this beautiful song comes to an end, will you stand with me or will you rush away?
I see somebody else over, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I see someone. Hope you have a good rest of the party, and
Just enjoy Britney Spears by myself. Sounds good.
Okay. Is that? Do we feel like that's enough dancing that we don't want to have any other partners joining the dance and dancing with each other, or is that good? Because I feel like we've all, like, do we have any other dancing partners? Essentially, is the question you need to ask, or do you think that's it?
I feel okay where we are.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Then that's the end of that scene, and then someone else will pick up and choose the next game. But we're gonna go to our first break, and we're gonna come back and keep playing some more. All right, so we'll be back in 6 minutes, everybody, for more Firebrands fun. See you on the other side.